Hey everyone, it's Simon from Inklips, and welcome to another video featuring some stamp of approval products. Today I was super inspired to use this stencil from Winnie and Walter, and also this sugar pea stamp set. I'm going to be using the Happy Birthday to You sentiment, and I'm also just going to be using that stencil with some fun texture paste and color it all up. So let's get started. I'm using some distress inks here, starting out with abandoned coral, and then I'm going to take some of the white texture paste and mix it in. I'm just going to evenly mix this for a little while so I get a nice even color. And then I'm going to spread it onto my stencil. Now I got a light pink color here, but if you want to go back in with a darker shade of ink, or if you want to make the color more vivid, you can add more ink onto the map. But I really wanted some light colors here to kind of make it look like cake frosting. Now, while I was spreading this on, you don't need to make it super flat right now. You kind of just want to lay the texture paste down and get it all spread out onto the stencil, but after I did this, I kind of learned that after the whole thing is done, that's when you want to really spread it down onto the whole thing, because it's going to get very kind of messy as we add on to this color. So the worse it looks right now, the better it looks later. So I'm going to just keep adding some on, and you really kind of want to push the color down into the parts of the stencil without really lifting the stencil up so you don't get any texture paste underneath. It did happen in a couple of places where I got a little tiny bit of texture paste leaking underneath, but for the most part it stayed up because it is pretty thick. The second one was I used fossilized amber ink, and again I made it really super light, and then finally I used Mermaid Lagoon for the bottom one. And then here, I'm just going to take my palette knife and I'm just going to scrape across the whole stencil, making sure it's not too thin, but just kind of flattening out some of that color there so that it's really nice and even as it goes through that stencil, and so that there's not different ridges as I pull the stencil up. So I'm just going to keep spreading that over until I kind of think there's enough paste on it, but not too much to make it too thick or to make it too rigidy. So now that I pulled that stencil off, you can see the pattern and design there. Now I'm taking some Versamark or clear sticky ink here, and I'm going to be stamping the sentiment Happy Birthday to You onto the vellum in that ink, and so that will hold the embossing powder there. So I'm just going to give that some really nice pressure and make sure it doesn't slide on there. And I'm also just going to add some gilded embossing powder from British Monroe onto the sentiment here. And that'll just make it really awesome gold color. And when I heat that, I can then add it onto my card. So I'm folding the vellum around the portion of my card here and adding adhesive onto the back. And that really finishes off my card. I'm going to add it onto some foam tape onto a card base, and that really finishes it off. I like how the vellum piece is kind of lifting up off the card. So these products really inspired me. I hope you guys will check out all of the other blogs and stop along there and subscribe to my channel also. I will have two videos linked on screen here. One is the stamp of approval day from yesterday, and the other one is using texture paste on a card. Thanks so much guys for watching this video. I'll have links to all the products that I used down below, and make sure to stop by any of the other vlogs from those fabulous designers, and I'll link their links down below in the description so you can follow along. Have a great day. Bye.